Matt Ammendola's career in the NFL has been anything but ideal or productive, and he's been in the spotlight a lot quite recently because of his poor kicking performances, leading some to wonder if he's one of the worst kickers ever. To analyze what went wrong for Matt Ammendola, we have to go back to the beginning. Ammendola started at kicker for Oklahoma State University from 2017 to 2019, and surprisingly of an NFL kicker, his college stats don't pop off the page. In fact, Ammendola missed 4 field goals inside 30 yards in his career with the Pokes, which is inexplicable. He also missed 4 extra points, none more costly than in the 2018 Bedlam game against a playoff Oklahoma team, in which he missed a fourth-quarter PAT that would have given the Cowboys a 1-point lead. They would go on to lose this game 48-47 in brutal fashion. In his final collegiate game the next season, Ammendola would miss 2 field goals against Texas A&M in a game where Oklahoma State would eventually lose 24-21. In total, Ammendola went 60 of 78 on field goals in college, which is around 76%. For reference, the NFL average for field goal kicking percentage has hovered on the low to mid-80s in the past few seasons, so it makes sense that Ammendola was undrafted. Furthermore, Ammendola doesn't have much range when compared to other NFL kickers because his long in college was 53 yards, and he only was around 60% in college in kicks of 40-plus yards. After an off year in 2020, Ammendola finally got his chance in the NFL when he signed with the Jets in mid-2021. Ammendola avoided the spotlight last season in New York because the Jets were horrible and there weren't any high-pressure late-game kicks because they usually were getting blown out. To put it simply, though, Ammendola was not effective last season with the same long kicks haunting him in his college days, going an atrocious 2 for 8 in kicks from 40-plus yards. The only game where it could be argued that Ammendola truly lost it for New York was in Week 11, where he missed from 55 in a kick that could have given the Jets the lead before half. He then later missed from 40 in the third quarter in a game that the Jets would go on to lose to the Dolphins 24-17. Ammendola was justifiably cut the very next week after missing another kick in a win against the Texans. Ammendola then lucked out at the start of the 2022 season when star Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker was injured in Kansas City's opening game in Arizona. After being on the team for just 2 days, Ammendola did his job in a Thursday night win against the Chargers, making 2 short field goals and all 3 extra points. However, the next week was a different story. Calling Ammendola's Week 3 performance an utter debacle would be an understatement in my estimation. At the end of the first quarter, the Chiefs should have equalized the game with the Travis Kelce touchdown, but Ammendola brutally missed the extra point. In the fourth quarter, the Chiefs showed their anxiety about Ammendola as a kicker by attempting a fake field goal while up by 4 points, which would fail. Shockingly, the Chiefs were vindicated in attempting the fake field goal in the red zone as Ammendola would miss a 34-yarder just a few minutes later in an agonizing 20-17 loss for the Chiefs. Ammendola was then released the very next day by Kansas City, but got yet another lucky opportunity in Week 5 getting signed by Arizona after their kicker Matt Prater got hurt. In a critical contest against the undefeated Eagles, Kyler Murray led a comeback drive down by 3 with under 2 minutes remaining to try and get the game into overtime. After spiking the ball on first down, Murray ran for 9.5 yards at second and promptly spiked the ball thinking that he had already picked up the first down. To no one's surprise then, Ammendola missed the kick right, resulting in a brutal loss for Arizona. After this loss, much of the conversation in the following days was surrounding the drama between Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury, who had both blamed each other for the poor game management near the end with the spike on 3rd and 1. In spite of this, an NFL kicker has to make that field goal of only 43 yards in a controlled environment at the end of the game to force overtime. The next week, Ammendola still found himself on Arizona's roster, where he would once again disappoint, missing an extra point. The next day, Ammendola was waived by the Cardinals and now once again finds himself without a team. Amenndola's drama-filled NFL career has only lasted 15 games, where he has already missed 3 extra points, far below the 94% average by NFL kickers. He is also a woeful 69% on field goals, and a reminder that the league average is 15 points higher at 84% this year.
So, is Matt Ammendola the worst kicker of all time? The answer is no. That distinction would go to Tommy Davis, who attempted over 200 field goals in the NFL and hit just 47% of them. There are also a bevy of old-time kickers who are below the 60% mark, which Ammendola is thoroughly above. Though he isn't the worst of all time, as the title says, we can all agree that Ammendola does not deserve another chance in the NFL anytime soon.